hurricane, a tidal wave. Essence perfect, life looks brilliant. Give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You're firing me, firing me. Yeah, you're firing me, firing me. You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. Whoa. I can see, I can hear, going crazy for the luck. It's got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. There you are at my hand.
Hello, everyone. Sorry for the miscommunication with the videos. I am a very busy old Ed Fries, and I'm joined by the one and only the natural astridpizarro, who has finally fixed her makeup from the promo package earlier in tonight's show. We'll get to that in a little bit. Astrid, how you doing tonight?
Doing better. How are you?
I'm doing all right. It was, I'll be honest, the dirt sheets got me tonight. You and the dirt sheets got me all excited that something fun was happening tonight. And it was just a good episode of NXT.
It was just JC.
I don't think that required a Shawn Michaels stand-in, but
No.
we can't ruin the surprise that JC Jane is coming back.
Guess not.
I'll be honest, I didn't even realize that she was there until they said her name.
Dang.
I thought Jazmyn Nix had a new friend.
Yeah,
So no, don't care. It's JC fucking Jane.
Sheesh, that's harsh.
Not really. It's about where it belongs for JC Jane.
No.
Do you really think she deserves more than that? I mean, she wasn't great when she left. She hasn't been great since Toxic Attraction broke up.
No, that's not her fault.
No. That's entirely her fault.
No.
She's very.
They don't know what to do with her, and Gigi's off screen now. So I was like, again, why'd you break him up?
If only there was this faction of like 3 female talents that were like running Ruckshaw over NXT. And
Gosh.
they could be like this hot girl group. Like they don't have to be hot, but they have to pretend like they are. They have to act like they are. Hot girl in attitude, not so much necessarily in person, like in physical embodiment. Because any group can do that. The hot girl act is more than just a physical trait. There's an attitude that goes with it. If only they didn't decide to, fire the best part of that group and realize, oh shit, the other 2 really aren't that good without her.
You're okay.
All right. I promise I will be less negative on most of the rest of the show. Most of it. We start off with a big yay. Jordynne Grace opens the show tonight. I have a problem with this graphic. There's a big NXT logo next to Jordynne Grace's name that doesn't belong there. I'm sorry. That logo should say TNA.
I mean, it's fine in the way. Plus, it's the programming. You're gonna expect it all to be TNA all the time either. So,
but I expected if NXT superstars show up on TNA that there would be an NXT graphic for their name. If I were running the show, that's what I'd do. The second botched spot of this match happens before the match even begins. We get the return of Stevie Turner. It's fantastic. I've missed it. I didn't realize how much I missed Stevie Turner until I saw her, the video package and her coming out to the ring. Only be cut off by that goddamn Roxanne Perez. I cannot tell you how much I hope she fucking loses on Sunday.
drinking that haterade again. Careful.
No. I can't wait for Roxanne to lose that championship. I really can't.
You're drinking that haterade. It's okay.
No, not haterade. She's a great talent that I have X-Pac heat with. It's not that I don't want to. I want to hate her because she's a heel. I just don't want to see her. I don't want to see her. I don't want to hear from her. I especially don't want her on commentary with Booker T, because as bad as Booker T is on commentary by himself, being on commentary with her was 10 times worse.
Yeah, today was one of those days I would do without Booker in commentary, to be honest.
I put one of these matches on mute for half the match, and it was the best commentary was all night. However, the match is fantastic. I adored this match. I thought Jordynne Grace and Stevie Turner worked incredibly well together. I thought Stevie Turner doesn't look like she's missed the beat. Granted, I know she's been on the Florida Loop. I know she's been on Level Up. There's a difference between Florida Loop, Level Up, and being on NXT with the TNA Knockouts champion. That's a big jump in talent there.
Big responsibility, too, especially making history tonight.
I would say, though, this match was fine. However, I wish Jordynne's moments were in front of bigger crowds. This is about the crowd she usually performs in front of a TNA. 200, maybe 500 people in a building. That's what she's used to. In WWE, she should be in front of a couple thousand. Let's not push it here. It's NXT. It might be 4,000 to 5,000 people. But at least then, it would feel big. It would feel big time. As big as it felt tonight, I feel bad for her that it's not in an actual stadium or an arena come Sunday night when she takes on Roxanne Perez. Jordynne Grace gets the win. She looks fantastic. She has a great match. I cannot wait. Cannot wait for Sunday night to watch Roxanne lose.
This is I'm going to watch it because I'm so scared.
Get the tables jumping, an excellent showcase for Grace. Absolutely. And if you haven't, please go check out Get the Tables. They are fantastic people who do watch-alongs for Raw, SmackDown, AEW, NXT. All kinds of good stuff is done over there with Get the Tables and their friends of that network, and they're great friends of ours. So definitely, if you aren't following them, follow them on Twitter. Go ahead and follow them on Twitch at Get the Tables. They are fantastic people who do incredible work. Tony's one of the best. Ash, what was your thoughts on Jordynne Grace versus Stevie Turner?
No, I'm glad it was. I feel like it was a good opener too. It gave what it did what it needed to do. To be honest, like you said, it's like I missed Stevie, and I didn't realize how much I missed her until this happened. But I hope they keep up kind of that little momentum of having her on screen more often now that we saw her tonight. That's what I'm hoping for more than anything. But again, they have fun. They had chemistry. I really enjoyed both of them. I wish it would have been a little bit longer, to be honest.
Yeah, I really wish it would have been a little longer. Get the Tables brings up a good point. I was going to address this later, but we'll address it now while the man's here. I was thinking that this match should main event, meaning Jordynne Grace versus Roxanne. But man, that Page promo sold me on maybe that should main event. Here's my thing. If either one of them are winning the championship, that's the match that main events. If one of them is winning, then they main event. So if Jordynne's winning the NXT Women's Championship, that match should main event. If Ethan Page is winning the NXT Championship, that match should main event. If neither one of them are winning, I still put Jordynne and Roxanne on last. I think that's the bigger match that more people are going to be excited for than Trick Williams versus Ethan Page. And only because Trick Williams versus Ethan Page is a smaller marquee match, because Ethan Page has been made a smaller star by his time in Ring of Honor and AEW. If this were Ethan Page coming out of TNA as Karate Man, he'd have been a much bigger star. But no, he had to be saddled 2.5 years over in AEW. This is the thank you for Ethan Page doing such great work. The match he should have had with Kyle Fletcher, he's now getting with Trick Williams.
I feel also with the girls, this is a once, almost it feels like in a lifetime kind of opportunity with the TNA partnership. So it's like, to me, that definitely should be that main event versus you have Trick and Ethan that will be there again for who knows how long at this point. So they have more opportunities to main event in the future, but it's not often that you have a champion from TNA here. So might as well have her main event because that way you make even more history as you're doing this too. And it's like you can highlight not only the women, but highlight this partnership a little bit more by having it main event.
Yeah. And speaking of champions, we got Jose on the air in here joining us after his Twitch stream over on, I think you're playing some Tekken, if I remember correctly, from watching the Twitch earlier tonight. So make sure you go ahead and check him out. We had Jose and Ella both on yesterday as we went ahead and fantasy booked our versions of the cards for Worlds Collide. If TNA and WWE were to have a pay-per-view, and me and Jose might have got a little overboard on how many people were booking on that show compared to Astrid and Ella, but it's definitely worth a watch. If you haven't seen it, please go give it a look. It was a good hour spent having a bunch of fun. We move on. Trick Williams that comes into the arena. He's a little late, but that's okay. He's still mostly on time. He apologizes to Lash Legend for what happened last week. She tells him it's fine. She then basically, Jose says, my card in 3 words: reverse, battle, and royal. Yeah. So Lash, while Jakara's kind of laughing the entire time, like snickering in the background, Lash dumps Trick Williams to concentrate on the match on Sunday. I has questions.
Oh.
How are you so smitten with Trick Williams that you can't concentrate on one match? like I get being smitten with somebody that you care about. I understand it. I understand that it's all encompassing. But y'all have been dating for like 4 months. Even on TV, she's had matches while they've been doing this thing. She qualified for this thing while dating him. Why can't she win the ladder match while dating him? It was really weird. Yes, she was indeed trickmatized. and I understand being trickmatized. I look at the man. I mean, yes.
Don't blame her.
That guy has muscles in places I don't even have places. But I still don't understand the point of dumping him. But all right, fine. Trick takes it like a man. He understands.
Not only that, but they were officially together for her to dump him to begin with on screen. I mean,
yeah. Like
you were flirting, but you were not officially together on screen for you to dump him.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We got that Canadian dude out. My other tag team partner Andre C cheering for Astrid.
I don't know what.
And we also have Jose in the chat saying, as Booker T would say, "Oh yeah, man." HBC bad guys in the house, thank you for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. They did acknowledge the situationship with the segment in the envelope. Also, another thing that goes unnoticed, during WrestleMania weekend, when Trick had that match with Carmelo, there's a backstage segment where they have on their own social media Lash Legend come in and give him a hug and a kiss and say congratulations and walk away. I'm like, how did this escape everybody during Stand and Deliver weekend?
Nah, maybe because I remember even I remember seeing this on Twitter. I think it was Denise Salcedo had noticed that she was doing one. I think it was the Bianca Montez show when she was doing media. She was interviewing somebody, and in the background it was Trick and Lash. She's like, "How did I miss that? Like they were behind me, all cuddling with each other, posing on the carpet." So I was like, "Yeah, a few of us knew."
Oh, thanks, Ted.
Oh, he's wholly good. Okay, that's fine with me.
Yeah, I don't think they need to dig much deeper because I
No,
honestly
that just me being me.
like I get it. I just thought it was weird that they dubbed like she was like I can't focus. If she had just been like, look, I can't focus on you. I gotta focus on Sunday. I'd been like, all right, that makes every sense in the world. But she's like, no, we have to stop this thing we have. And I'm like, for what, bitch? You're not even winning Lash. Like, you're not winning the title. So why does it matter?
You sure?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. After that tag match, she's 1,000% not winning.
Dang.
There are 2 people potentially winning that match on Sunday. 2.
Okay.
We'll talk about that later.
Oh, dang it. Okay.
Later. We then see Uriah Connors, Javon Evans, and 3 random jabronis backstage being talked to by Sean Spears. I think one of them might be Carly Bright.
She looked like her, but I don't think it was her. I was gonna put Carly as well, but she looked very similar to her, which is weird.
She looked. I was gonna say she looked a little like her, but I didn't. It didn't get that. I didn't get that same bright feeling on the inside that I see when I see Carly Bright come on my TV screen. So I don't think it was her.
Yeah, I almost put her name down, and then I went, never mind. On second thought, that's not her.
Spears is talking to them about the opportunity that she can that they all can achieve if they're working with him. Talking to Uriah Connors, he talks about him being a 4th generation superstar.
Yes.
Which I had to think, and I'm like, Fit, David, and I'm like, where's the other generation? Did Fit's father wrestle? Because isn't Uriah David's brother, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is Brogan Finley, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
So I was like, I can't do the math on how this.
No, I only know 2 generations: Uriah and David, and then Fit. So that's all I know. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, I don't. But sure, 4 generations. That sounds fine. I'm okay with that. And he's talking to Javon, and Javon's really not buying it. And then Josh Briggs comes in, and he starts talking to him, and he's like, "You called me a lost soul." He's like, "No. Oh God, no. Oh no, you are not the lost soul I was talking about last week, sir." And Briggs is like, "Well, yeah, because all you're looking for is people to manipulate, and I'm not going to be manipulated." And he's like, No, it's not what I'm looking for. At least I know the answer to the question of who I am. Who is Josh Briggs? And Briggs gets real pissed off and just walks away. I loved it. I thought this was great. Sean Spears is fantastic.
Yeah, I would love this.
This is 1,110 per 1,000%. Brooks Jensen.
Yeah.
Especially with Brooks Jensen coming in later on in the show and berating Vic Joseph and then posting that god-awful... Like, dude, if you're going to post something from your car at night, turn the fucking light of the car on so at least you have some nice light over you.
Yeah, that was terrible. So
we have Andre popping in saying Fitz dad was a pro wrestler, but Brogan is still 3rd generation. Technically, his brother is in the same generation. All right. That's what I thought. I was like, I don't think he's old enough to be David's son. I know David did just have a child, so congratulations to David Finley and his wife on that.
I think it's funny, though. I know, but I think it's funny because for us in NXT, thinking of like the NXT, like I don't want to say universe, but he's Uriah Connors. So who are the generations before him? Because NXT TV, we don't know about that though. You know what I mean? Just like I thought that's interesting because they didn't even at least call him Uriah Finley because that would have been like, oh, he's Fit Finley's son at least. That will make a lot of people make that connection. But on screen, unless you don't know who he is. So it's like most people would have been like, what are the other 3 generations at this point? Because that's the first Uriah Connors I see.
Where's EC 1 and 2?
Yeah, basically.
We've got our friend Bobby Munson jumping in the chat. Thank you for joining us, Bobby. We greatly appreciate it. We're doing okay. We're getting through this show, and God, there's a lot to get through. Shawn Michaels then makes the worst decision of his career, and this includes the I lost my smile speech, with having Booker T host the Women's North American Championship ladder match summit.
Why? Disaster. Hot mess. That's the ways I could describe this.
I would have much rather Mike fucking Rome in his janky ass I don't want to be here attitude have hosted this.
Why doesn't Vic? Vic is great. He's done stuff like that before. Why he can't do it?
Because then that means we leave Booker T on commentary all by himself for 5 minutes.
I don't know which was worse.
I don't know if we... Andre. Hot mess. Chelsea's here? No. Unfortunately, she's not.
Yes, she is.
I didn't write down anything that any of these women said. Michin started talking because she was asked the question first, and then Jaida interrupted her, and then Soul interrupted her, and then Kelani started chanting for somebody I've never even heard of named Lonnie, and it was real loud and real annoying about it. And then talking about real loud, real annoying, Lash Legend did that like weird sound effect thing that she does.
That squeaky noise that she makes. Oh my god. I don't like that noise.
Blew out my fucking eardrums, like, and then of course they like asked Soul Ruca like one question. I know Fallon said some basic Summit bullshit. Everybody gets like a line or two in. They all fight.
My favorite part is that whenever they do segments like this, Fallon is the one that starts it because one of the last ones she's like, "Yeehaw, bitch!" and she hit somebody, and it started the whole brawl. And this time, I don't know if it was Lash, she like hit her like that, and then kept going to the other side. I was like, she always starts this whenever they have all these segments. Fallon's the first one to hit somebody for some reason. I don't know why.
I can tell you why. It's because she's always at the bar drinking before the show.
The what I can point out is that when Michin started talking, when Jaida interrupted her, she goes, "It is not black and gold." But she said, "But if I kick your ass, it's gonna turn black and gold," or something like that along those lines. Which it definitely like it caught me off guard because it was funny. With Kelani though, like the way she delivered it, it seemed kind of off to me. Because I know she was like looking straight at the camera, like Lonnie this and Lonnie that, and I was like, that look on her face, I was like, I don't want to see that. It felt so awkward. I can't even describe it, to be honest, but it's just the timing of it, the way she said it. And she's like, Lonnie this and Lonnie that, and I was like, okay, why are you getting in my face? I just like back out.
And by the way, she's never called herself Lonnie before.
No.
In anything she's ever done. So it's the most random self-given bullshit nickname I've ever heard. And I'm like, the fuck is going on?
Yeah, that delivery of it, it definitely was not one of my favorites with Kelani. And it's like that, I'm like, that I couldn't do it.
We have not talked about Astrid's vignette, but we will in just a few minutes, so don't you worry. We then go backstage to Charlie practicing his best Scarface in front of the PC mirror. And this is the best part. Like, what's his name? Little Randy comes like walking into frame. And he's like, "You okay?" And he's like, "Have you been listening the entire time?" And Miles just like looks around at himself, at Charlie, and then back in the mirror and goes, "As best I can." Like, oh, I don't know.
Give that line to him?
I was gonna say I don't know if that's scripted or not, but there's no chance in hell Charlie thought a moment about saying to the partially deaf dude, "Were you listening the entire time?"
It's like, you're in the same room too. He's bound to listen to something, but still it sounds terrible at the same time.
And he's like, "Is Damon ready?" And Damon like pops into frame and he's like, "Yeah, I'm right over there.
I'm here.
We were just talking 2 minutes ago before the camera started rolling." And I'm like, "Oh my god."
That response was so freaking awkward. The way he said it, he's like, "We just talked like 2 minutes ago," and I was like, why are they making you go into frame like this? I guess I haven't seen each other before this.
It was so bad in the best of ways. Like it is a train wreck of a 2-minute promo, but it's so good because the entire oh good god. We then get Chase U backstage where Riley's not wearing a hoodie over his Chase U stuff, and Duke decides with Riley that they're not going out for Thea's match. And Thea says, but we're Chase U. We always go out for each other's matches.
Mm-hmm.
And they go, we're not all Chase U. And then Andre's like, no, it's okay. We're gonna go out. I'm gonna go out for your match. It's fine. Everything's gonna be okay. They can do what they want. And they start walking out, and Ridge, not the wallet, but the wrestler, Holland. We should get a Ridge. I really want a Ridge sponsorship now, like the Ridge wallet. So every time we have to talk about him, we can talk about something interesting and talk about the Ridge wallet and how great it is. Because I actually have one, and they're fantastic, and it's one of my favorite things in the world. Love a Ridge wallet. Go to somebody else on the internet who has a promo code for Ridge wallet. Use that. It's great. No, your better looking twin brother Andre Chase was on NXT tonight, though. That's for just calling me good. Fucker. Anyways, Thea goes out there. In my notes I have with Riley and Duke, when it certainly wasn't Riley and Duke, it was Ridge and Andre to take on Jazmyn Nix. Astrid, before I talk about this match, because I promised I was going to say positive things about this show, and I haven't really done that yet, why don't you talk about this match?
I'm glad at least I don't drink haterade. I can tell you that much.
Oh, this makes the show gave me a full glass.
I was just disappointed with this one because the best way I can describe it is that Thea was carrying this match. And it sounds weird to say when she really hasn't experienced it. I can tell you right now, Thea was carrying the match. What? Like, I never thought I would say that, ever. Because Jazmyn was slow to, like, react to the spots, and, like, Thea had to be helping her in so many ways that I just couldn't believe this was happening. It was like, and last time when she did the Pele kick, I was like, this girl didn't even get a reaction when it happened. And tonight I saw that and I was like, I wouldn't put her on TV yet to continue doing this, because it wasn't great. Like, her timing was off. I think the thing that, like, really was, I don't want to say the best, was like there was that moment when she kind of pulled Thea from the post and she kicked her, and I was like, oh, she, like, if you notice, being a soccer player, her best thing is the kicks and there's nothing else to her. And I was like, no, I don't like this. But during the match in itself, at one point, Thea does see Riley and Duke a little bit behind Andre, and that kind of distracts her a little bit. Like you guys did come out, even though you said you wouldn't. And then, not even a few seconds afterwards, she's putting the Kimura lock on Jazmyn, and Jazmyn backs her up towards the ref, who backs up to the post. So she has to break it off, and Jazmyn takes advantage, and then she kicks her, and then she wins the match. And it's like, after Thea carrying the whole match and trying her best with Jazmyn here, I would have preferred if Thea won this match, to be honest. And just, like, it was not what I expected it to be. Your turn for the haterade.
Jazmyn is as green as fresh grass. Jazmyn is as green as this. She did okay. By the way, Jazmyn, as green as she is still way more impressive to watch than Lola Vice. Just saying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'd much rather watch Jazmyn Nix all day, every day, than Lola Vice ever.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really sad, because at least she has the wrestling thing down. She's super slow, like you said. She needs some time to get into position. But she knows what she's doing. She can sell. She's got the idea. It's just a little bit slow and just getting into position. However, I like the finish. Whereas you hate the finish, I like the finish.
I like the finish, but I just would have her have the victory, though, in the end. But
I love the idea of giving Jazmyn a win. I love the idea of her defending JC Jane, because in her mind, that's the whole purpose of doing this. So I like the idea that she gets the win. And I like the way they made it happen. She didn't necessarily cheat. She used the rules of a wrestling match to her advantage. By putting Thea into the referee, it makes the referee make Thea break the hold. And then she doesn't low blow her. She doesn't do anything crazy. She hits her Pele kick, which, by the way, is a great finish. That Pele kick is really good. It's up there with AJ. It's that good. That Pele kick is fantastic. Like, It's the one thing she does really, really good.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you're going to do one thing well, your finish needs to be the thing you do well. And she does. But, like, I liked it. I thought that it's a creative finish to get out of the match that you're in, to continue the story. Thea Hale has a reason to have a rematch. You know, with JC Jane coming back, it brings all of that into focus, so there's another thing to do. It didn't involve Ridge getting involved and causing a problem, which is good for the Chase U story, because it continues that tonight Riley and Duke are the problem. She gets slightly distracted by them, so she can't do her Ultimate Warrior fallback thing. She couldn't do that whole setup because she gets distracted by Riley and Duke coming out of the Chase U section. So, like, it all works together when you put all the pieces together. It does a really good job of telling the story you needed to tell. You just need a more talented wrestler in the ring than Jazmyn Nix to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I would rather Jazmyn Nix be substituted out for Stevie Turner. Because I think Stevie Turner with JC Jane would be a lot better because she's ready to be in that spot.
Yeah.
We have Ethan Page leaving the GM's office with his contract negotiations on that big-ass contract that apparently has so many stipulations in it that even Robert Stone is surprised. But that will be handled later. We get footage of the Good Brothers attacking Naxium outside, signing autographs and selling merch. Come on, guys. You don't make enough money that you can't just, work the show. Now you got to go and, sell the NXT merch. Come on. That's what
This is very close to the parking lot, by the way.
It's in the parking lot. It's a fucking truck in the parking lot.
So, there you go.
This is why you hire street teamers, NXT. Why would you put NXT wrestlers back there? You know about the parking lot. It is the most dangerous place in professional wrestling.
It really is.
It really is.
They should have known.
Josh Briggs is coming out to go ahead and have his match against Shawn Spears, but he got hit by Shawn Spears with a chair, and Spears keeps yelling at him to show him something, to get up and show him something. Well, Javon Evans is behind him, and he's not impressed, and Spears is like, no, don't do it, Javon. Javon, don't do it. And Javon attacks him. They have a really good fight. I like this. Yep. I'm hoping on the pre-show we get Javon Evans versus Shawn Spears.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
And again, Shawn Spears' character is interesting enough. He can keep losing, and it'll be fine. Because I think Shawn Spears is going to be a gatekeeper for a little while. Until we figure out this Brooks Jensen bullshit, he's going to be a gatekeeper. And he's just going to kind of... But it shows you what they think of Javon Evans. With Javon Evans working with Trick Williams, with working with all these big-name stars, they think the world of Javon Evans. It makes you wonder what they think of Brogan Finley. We see Javon on television week after week. We don't ever, apart from tonight in a backstage segment, see Brogan on TV since he made his debut.
I feel like now the involvement with Shauna I hope it helps in that aspect. It's kind of like Eddie Thorpe in that sense for me. It's like I was hoping they would do a little bit more with him, and even if they change his name, at least put the Finlay in there, because I feel like it will make people pay attention to who he is. Because again, now unless they do like Alexis King kind of story, I would like to know why he changed his name. But he's a fourth generation superstar, so it's like that explanation is something that I hope we see sometime soon. But I do hope that involvement with Shawn Spears makes him highlighted more on a weekly basis.
We then have Tony D'Angelo talking about how Luca's clued him in onto the catch clause and how that applies, and what they wonder how the Candy Crew is going to like it when the catch clause is in their control. To which I said, is the catch clause just NXT's way of not giving a fucking shit about this cup? They're like, we'll just put it on factions, and then whoever we want to have a match this week can just have a match. and do the thing. We then get Tony D'Angelo versus Damon Kemp after lots of like shady business where it's like, who's going to be in the match? And we've been advertising Tony D'Angelo versus Damon Kemp all week, but who's going to be in the match? And it was Tony D'Angelo and Damon Kemp.
Yeah,
Shocker.
I really thought they would have put stacks in this because he had his gear on. I feel like that would have been interesting. Like at the end, be like, no, I'd rather not do it. I got somebody that can do a business for me and just put stacks in there because that way Damon would have been like, that's not what we had planned out. It was supposed to be you, and can I get that back and forth? And then like, I feel like in storyline wise, if Damon loses the match, obviously like he did, but still even losing the match in itself, he could easily say, I was not prepared for him. I was prepared for Tony, though, because that's what we agreed upon last week.
Yeah, it makes the whole point about trying to figure out what the hell the catch clause is. It makes the fucking point irrelevant when Tony doesn't use it against them.
Yeah.
Like, the fuck is with the logic? The match is about as good as the logic going into it. Tony wins in the first round. They have the commercial break for almost the entirety of the second round. They come back in the third round long enough to us to see Damon Kemp hit a big move right at the end, and they get the 1-2, and Tony gets saved by the bell. So you think Damon Kemp's going to be right in there ready to go. No, he gets hit with one random big move, and by a dazed Tony D'Angelo coming out of the break and loses the match in 10 more seconds. Like, the fuck? Like, I wouldn't even give the Candy Crew another match at this point because they just suck. Like, okay, it's done. Better luck next time, chaps. Like,
yeah, this is. I don't know why they even decided to do this. It just felt like it went by so quickly. And when usually we're at the like, they kind of want to keep you at the edge of your seat, thinking on the next round they're gonna take it. So it's like you're thinking after Damien almost having it so close to that pin, and the next round he's probably gonna take it, and then he just get like done so quickly. It's like it took me a moment. I was like, wait, that really happened, but it did.
I get the idea of the surprise victory, but again, it just none of it works together. You know how we talked about how in the Jazmyn Nix versus Thea Hale match, everything worked for the story. As dumb as it all was, it all worked for the story. Every piece of that fit that story perfectly. None of this was in the story. They were just ripping pages out of the book and going, yep, this one works, now this one. Like,
Yeah.
we then
Could have
get
done without this. But.
We get Ava talking to Kelly Kincaid about the contract and saying that she's not going to give him what he wants, that he has so many demands that there's no way she's signing this contract, where Trick walks in and says, I don't care what he wants, give him everything. He can't understand that he can't just walk in here and get an NXT championship opportunity. To which I looked at Trick and goes, you stupid, stupid babyface. What the fuck do you think is the one thing she doesn't want to give him that you are sitting here telling her to give him that you don't want him to have? Like, oh, Trick.
You're like that gift with the lady doing the math, and you're like,
Yep, no. Trick has been the smart baby face this entire time, and all of a sudden now he's stupid. And I don't get it.
I don't like it.
I want to like this stuff, and nothing on this show is overly bad. None of it's great, but it's mostly logic gaps, which is the one thing NXT typically doesn't do.
Yeah.
We then get Jordynne Grace walking backstage where she's an old friend in Mia Yim. So they start conversing. I'm like, oh, this is a great moment. And then so Ruca comes up and she's like, I don't mean to interrupt. And, I just wanted to introduce myself. And they start having buddy time. And I'm like, I thought Mia Yim was going to pop her in the face for being such good friends with Jordynne Grace, because Jordan's all impressed with her and she's all impressed with Jordynne.
Yeah.
And then in walks Jaida talking trash I think she was talking trash to Mia Yim.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I think. I don't understand. Like, I love Jaida. I think she's money. I think she's great. But, like, when you have 4 people in a segment, you need to tell us who you're focusing on instead of just talking to the group at large.
Yeah.
But Jordynne pipes up, and then that whole situation resolves itself, and Jordynne's like, okay, I'm going to leave now. And Ariana Grace walks in. Oh, Ariana Grace. The savior of my night, Ariana Grace. She's like, we have the same name, but we're not family.
Oh my God.
To which Jordynne goes, who the hell are you? Because, it's so great. And just, she continues to go on, and in walks Tatum Paxley, looking at Jordynne's championship and nothing else, just staring at that Knockouts title. And she's like, isn't it beautiful? And she's like, yeah, it's nice, but it's nothing like my crown. And Jordynne's like, no, it's way more important than your stupid crown.
No.
She's like, well, I beg to differ. Bye. And she walks away. And Tatum's just staring at the championship, like right up on it.
I was like, against all odds, please. That's all I could think about. It's coming up soon.
Oh,
Tatum gonna do it.
I didn't know I needed Tatum versus Jordynne Grace,
Right?
but I also just want Tatum to show. You shouldn't even have to have a match there. I just want her to start following Jordynne Grace around at tapings, and all of a sudden run into Havoc and Rosemary.
But still, I feel like that Rosemary. Like I remember, that was my match at the pay-per-view too. Ironically, no, but being that it's the open challenge, I think like it will be funny because it explains it so well. But she could have said, "I like the championship. I saw it and I liked it and I want it." And it's like go back to this segment, and it leads up to her answering the open challenge. She's like, "Please give it to me. I love it. Give it to me already."
I agree. I'm all in for the match if it happens. But like I said, I'm just, even if it's just as simple as Tatum's just wandering around backstage, following Jordynne Grace around. And
what if she loses and does that though?
That's fine. I'm okay with that too. But like I said, as long as as long as I get some kind of interaction between Tatum and Rosemary, and I think Havoc would be great because Havoc would just be like so big over the top of Tatum. I think it'd be like just a great visual.
Yeah.
The only thing that would make that better is if they were the TNA women's tag team champions. I know it's Danny Luna and Jody Threat, right?
It's a bit
but
far, yeah.
It would be so great if they lost them just for this little bit, to lose them to Rosemary and crew,
or have Rosemary and Havoc take the championships hostage, and then they have the titles on their shoulders.
That works.
And then Tatum will be like, "I like those titles."
This title's pretty. And plus, Rosemary has the connection with Daphne, who's the big influence on Tatum. So it all keeps going round and round in a circle.
I need it.
Tatum on TNA has to happen.
After this, especially, I was like, this could be part of the video package later. They decide to do it. Just like start with the segment that she's looking at the championship. She wants it. She answers the open challenge and against the lots. Like, I couldn't think of who, but now that this happened, it's like I cannot unthink of Tatum. It's like I love this, I really do, and I love the part of like when Jordynne and Mia see each other and they're like, "Look at us! Who would have thought?" It's like that was great to see them get reunited there too.
It was great. I really liked that whole segment. Yeah. Speaking of segments I didn't like, they spent way too much time trying to sell us on this whole Shayna versus Lola match. They did the inside look. And by the way, I went and cleaned up dinner, got myself a glass of water, myself a bowl of ice cream, didn't pay any attention to anything that happened in this inside look. My only notes in the segment are, in all caps, "Please, dear God, let Shayna win." Because the thing ends with Lola saying, "I'm going to knock her out, and then I'm going to dance." And I'm just like, no. I can see it. I can see it. I don't want to.
Just thinking of it happening makes me not want it.
Plus, with Booker T talking about how he wants to have a Sexy Red versus Lola Vice twerk off. Which, by the way, can we talk about how stupid it is that he said that? Like, how much money does he have where Charmel's okay with all of this?
That makes me so uncomfortable. I hate it.
Like, really? Like, that's the only thing. Like, I'm not calling Charmel a gold digger, but at the same time, why are you still there if this is how he's acting? Like, I get it's a character,
But it's
but
just weird. I don't want to hear it.
It don't feel like a character.
Yeah.
Like, my stuff with Mandy Rose, Nikita Lyons, Tiffany Stratton, I adore them. I think they're all beautiful. But I play it up for the show because it's funny. But at the end of the day, they're all ultra-talented women whom I'd much rather be talented than beautiful. Like, at the end of the day, I want my women's talent to be talented than beautiful. That's the main thing. Please be talented. Because if you're not talented, you end up like the stupid Spanish guy talking to Dominic Mysterio where he throws water at you and walks away. And if you haven't seen that yet, please go check it out. It's well worth it. They even have subtitles for those of us that don't speak Spanish. Although, I can say, with having talked to Astrid in my Duolingo, I understood almost everything they said.
You did. Yeah.
I really did. We have to wish some speedy recoveries to not Izzy Dame. What's the other one? Karate Lady. Shit.
Uh-huh.
I did this.
I'm not gonna give it to you. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on.
No, not Natalie Markova. Oh shit! I butchered Karmen Petrovic. That's the one.
There you go.
I'm sitting there thinking of Natalie Markova. All of a sudden, for some reason, I'm like, "What the hell am I thinking about Natalie Markova?" That's certainly not her.
You got it. You got it. I'm glad at least it didn't take that long. I thought it would take longer.
No, that was way long enough for a clip, which is unfortunately going to be out on the YouTube channel. And Bobby, by the way, when that ends up on the YouTube channel, I will be deleting it from the back end.
No, we're not deleting.
However, speedy recovery to Karmen, who got herself hurt over the weekend on the house show loop. Hopefully you get better. Although it did make it very much easier to figure out which one of you was Izzy Dame, because that meant that Izzy Dame was in the ring.
And she's wearing green again.
Well, yes. Well, then, Bobby, you're going to have to upload this episode then, because I can't do it then if you've changed the password.
Bobby, you got to upload it while he's doing Marvel, so he cannot delete it because it's uploaded.
Marvel Talk, which, by the way, next week we're going to have Lauren Goodnight on, so be excited for that. Anyways, Izzy Dame versus Natalya. I want to say one thing here. Izzy looked great. Izzy looked great in this match. She was fantastic. Yeah. I thought, granted, it's very easy to have a good wrestling match with Natalya. I understand that she's being elevated because of the fact that Natalya's in the ring with her, and it's hard to have a bad match with Natalya. However, we've seen people have bad matches with Natalya, and this was a good one. I think Izzy Dame has almost everything it needs, everything she needs to be a star. Here's the thing she's missing: a personality.
Yeah, especially now without Kiana, it just feels like empty. Like today felt empty when she did her entrance. Like she didn't know what to do with her, like with her body for the entrance. Then she just started looked like that, and then kept walking. I was like, oh. It's like, and then you could tell like she's used to having Kiana with her, so she gets to play off of what Kiana's doing. But now that she's by herself, I feel like I was waiting for her to go like this, like she usually does, and she didn't this time around. So I was waiting for something a little bit more there, but yeah, sorry.
Like and again, there's nothing wrong with her. She cuts a promo, when she talks, she has a personality, but her in-ring character has none of it. Yeah. The only interesting thing about her in this match, other than her technical ability, was the fact that they kept talking about how she's Kiana James's friend. Joe Carney, and you talked about how great NXT is on a weekly basis when you quote tweeted his tweet. But Joe Carney was talking about how much he loves the NXT women's division because they fleshed out all of these women to give them a role or a niche or something that makes them unique. Jada Parker has that attitude and that charisma. Sol Ruca is athletic as all hell and can do things that no human body should be able to do. Thea Hale is crazy in a different way than all the other crazy ladies that we have in wrestling. Like, everybody has a thing. Even Lola Vice, she shakes her ass, but at least it's a thing that she does. I don't want her to do it, but that's what she does, and at least it's a thing. Izzy has no thing. Yes. A thing. Like, every professional wrestler needs to have that thing that makes them unique. Because one of the things that makes independent wrestling so interesting, and sometimes what makes AEW so hard for me to watch, is it's all a bunch of great wrestlers who do great wrestling. But so many of them are lacking the thing that makes them unique. Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher is the TV champion for Ring of Honor. And he's great. But I don't know a goddamn thing about him other than he's a great wrestler who was part of Aussie Open. And he's part of the Don Callis family. But you know what I'm saying? Like, those are the things that are about him. Whereas Will Ospreay, ultra talented, egomaniac, thinks he's better than the entire world, you know, has made his personality who he is. That makes him different than everybody else. Swerve Strickland, MJF, Samoa Joe, all the top stars have that thing that makes them unique. Izzy Dane, that thing that makes her unique.
With her too is like a backstory, because for a lot of people we get kind of like backstory. So you're like, oh, like Fallon Henley does the ranch thing. It's like we all have it, and Tiffany's like the daddy's rich girl. So like there's always a backstory to them. So you can say Izzy is, and there's a blank because we don't really know anything about her other than her being Kiana's friend, and all of a sudden they were together. It's like we don't have like a video package introducing us to who she was or anything like that, and it's hard to like think about her, what she is and her character when we don't know who she is as a person. When it comes to the match though, I think like she can learn from somebody like Nia Jax, because especially during this run with Nia, because if you notice, she was doing a lot of moves and power moves in the sense of like you can tell she's bigger than Nattie, and she was using that to her advantage during the match. So seeing that, I was like, I kept thinking she could learn from somebody like Nia, because right now Nia is doing great, not only with the personality part, the character part, but her height and her power and everything, how big she is compared to all the other girls, because she's taller than all of them too. So I feel like she could easily learn from somebody like that has about the same height as her and everything, and like body build, that kind of build too. It's like I feel like she can learn from her, because there was moments, like a moment that Nattie had a submission on her, and the way she lifted her up and everything, I was like, that looked amazing. And I was like, she looked great, like such a powerhouse doing this. The way she just threw Nattie to the steel steps, I was like, great, again, I love it. I love showing your power. But I was like, I wish she had like a backstory so I could be like, Izzy is this, and that's amazing. I'm glad she got out of this or whatever she is. But we don't have that with her. It's like a big blank when it comes to her character. All I know is that she's blonde and she wears green. And it's like that's how you know who she is. So I feel like that's something that I would like to know from her. Give us a little bit of maybe kind of what we did with Gigi Dolan about her family, kind of like a video package and that sort of way of like, oh, my name's Izzy Damon, I came from here and I had a dream of being in WWE and now I'm here, whatever it is. But then get us that kind of video package of so we can say, oh, this is her without Kiana. So we can build off her personality without Kiana. But either way, I like the way that Nattie just won this one out of nowhere as well, and taking advantage and of like the quick win the way she did, to be honest. And I'm glad it was a quick match too, because I feel like it really showcased Izzy as well in a good way. It really showed off her power, and I'm glad that it was with Nattie too. And again, Nattie again with the same catchphrase as she did after Raw, but first on Raw she had it after a loss, and now she had it after a victory. So we'll see how she moves forward now, especially with Karmen injured.
Yeah, and the catchphrase "enough is enough," and it's time for a change. Obviously, from the late great Owen Hart, and the Owen Cup is coming up, and everybody assumed that meant that she wasn't re-signing and she was headed to AEW to be in the Owen Cup, which is probably not happening. Yeah. I'm almost guarantee she's re-signing with WWE. Yeah, like you were saying, is the Bird Lady. At least we could call Lyra the Bird Lady. Like there was something to call them. It's just, and it's such a. The reason why I harp on it is because Izzy has everything else. She's pretty good in the ring. She can talk on the microphone. She can do all the other stuff. I just want that extra bit to give a damn. Yeah. Because I think you've got something there. And that's remarkable. Hell, even Carly Bright. She comes on TV. She smiles. I smile. She talks about being a cheerleader. You know what? That's the stupidest thing in the world. I was a cheerleader and decided to come to NXT. But you know what? It's the truth and it's fine and it's part of her. And you know what? That's good enough for now. It'll do for now. Give me something because she's got it. She's got it. She just needs the thing to get her over. That is definitely not confirmed, but we'll get to that later. How WWE's letting a lot of contracts expire. So I think a lot of these contracts are people that WWE didn't see anything going on with going into the future. Also, it's a lot of these people are probably people who are looking to see for the first time, for most of them, what the other side has to offer. A Chad Gable has never had the opportunity to see what's out there for Chad Gable. So it makes sense that he might want to see what's out there. A Natalya, who's been in WWE her entire life because her whole family's been associated with WWE, makes sense that she might want to see what else is out there. I don't think either of them are leaving, by the way. I think both of them are re-signing. But also, this is another change between what Vince would do, which is as soon as he could lock you up for years after years, versus Triple H, who's looking out for the talent. All right, you don't like what we've got going on for you? Go see what the other side is. Is the grass greener on the other side? Because we're already seeing people start coming back from the other side. So it's entirely possible that would continue. Gable is in such a great spot right now. And again, the difference between Vince and Triple H is that Gable's still on television. With an imminent contract expiring, he's still on television in a main storyline. Why? Yeah. Because they trust in the fact that if he's not going to re-sign, he's going to tell them so they can blow it off ahead of time. Or they'll treat it like Becky, where they do just enough to write her off so that if she goes away, that's fine. We'll make do. And if she stays, that's great. We'll bring her back.
For this one, though, I saw this on Twitter earlier, and I feel like it's something similar. I feel like they might do it just because they want to showcase when they do sign the talent. Like, imagine when they go, breaking news, Becky Lynch re-signed with WWE, like something like that, and make a good spectacle out of it. Like, marketing-wise, that's good for them as well. So I feel like they could do that sort of thing of, like, breaking news, Gable resigns for 5 years with WWE, whatever it is. And I feel like that will help them in the end because it will make it trend on social media because they're making such a big deal out of it. And it's like we saw that with Jay, for example, something like that along those lines of like ESPN, we get a quote and this and that and all the press they get from it. So it wouldn't surprise me that happens as well.
Look at Drew McIntyre. When he re-signed, it was The Rock posting it on social media. Hey, I told you when you re-signed, as part of the negotiations, you re-sign with us, I'll give you a Claymore. Here's your Claymore. Like, that's a cool idea. Like,
make a big deal out of it.
Just because we're hearing that these people aren't re-signed doesn't mean they haven't re-signed. Like, I love Sean Ross Sapp, his ability to get news. Dave Meltzer and his ability to get news, although he's had a bad track record as of late. My good friend Tom Collahue, their ability to get news. Just because we're not hearing that these people have re-signed doesn't mean they're not re-signed. WWE is having negotiations with all of these people. It's just the fact that some of these people are deciding to potentially see what else is out there before making the decision to re-sign or not. And I can't blame anybody for that.
No, we saw that with like even Randy when one of the last few times we just see on social media about elite this and elite that, and people are like, "Oh my god, he's gonna leave," but he used that as his advantage to get more money in the end. Do I blame him for that? Hell no. Take all that coin. Make that bag. Is that what Lawrence says? Make that bag. There you go.
Yeah, get that bag. Speaking of people who didn't get that bag, TNT did not get that bag tonight as they were attacked by Gallus. Gallus comes out and talks about how everybody's ruining the business how the youngsters are doing this and you're doing that. And then you saw Joe Coffey twerking, talking about them shaking their asses. And I'm like, oh God, I agree with Joe Coffey. This is terrible. How did I agree with Joe Coffey? But then, and you know what? We're going to talk about this segment. I'm going to do something for our good friend Mark while we talk about this segment. We're going to have this music playing the whole time. So Gallus is out there. They're doing a great time. Not in my professional wrestling ring. I want my professional wrestling ring to be professional wrestling, not people dancing. However, Obafemi comes out to save this segment. And it was great. He's like, look, I'm not stupid. I know that you three are dangerous. And I don't want to go ahead and just get in that ring by myself with you because I know that might not be a smart idea. And I'm like, look at Obafemi. He's being smart. He's calculating. He's like, I don't like you, but I understand how dangerous y'all can be. And then Wesley starts chiming in and chirping like a little, Wesley became Scrappy Doo this week for Obafemi.
No.
He did. I didn't care about a thing. He says, like, I want my title, but to do that, I got to go through 3 idiot Scotsmen and the most dominant champion that NXT has right now. And I'm like, dude, Trick Williams is over there. Like, how dare you say that about Obafemi? Granted, he's right. Obafemi is the most dominant champion. But way to make Trick feel like a bad guy. However, Obafemi and Wesley do attack Gallus, and they don't get the better of it. Gallus gets the better of them with the 3-on-2. I like it. It makes Joe Coffey feel like he might win this match. And honestly, he might pin Wesley to win this match.
No.
If Oba's losing this match, it's specifically Oba losing this match because Wesley gets his ass.
I don't want it.
I don't want it.
I don't want it. It's either Oba or West. The other one's the wrong answer.
However, we then have Astrid before the show. Astrid, you definitely woke up on the wrong side of the bed tonight, honey. Look at this.
Yeah, that's what happens when you wake me up from my nap. That's what happens.
So we're getting a mix between Mei Ying and Wendy Chu, I guess. A little bit of both. Dark Wendy Chu.
Does she give you nightmare instead of sweet dreams?
She never gave me either. It's fine.
Damn.
Did she give you sweet dreams? I mean,
Not me.
love it.
I mean, she used to have sweet dreams.
Maybe she's having nightmares. Maybe that's what the makeup's all about. But like, those are hella bags under her eyes. If that's. But
the only thing I was wondering is like, okay, last we saw her, it was because of Blair. So I was like, how does that go back to Blair? And again, I don't like the timing of it because I would have liked her and Blair to have at least one match and her to try to get revenge on Blair, and now we're not gonna even get that. I was like,
yeah, ew. Like, I mean, I'm happy she's back. I'm happy she's got something going for her, and she'd be mad. Oh, dude, she'd be very angry.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
But so Wendy Chu's back. That's great. We then get Lexus King, and he's praising himself for his botch spot where he took out Dante Chen on the exposed floor, which certainly was over the mats because he's an idiot and doesn't know how to do it like he's supposed to. Which, by the way, he defended on Twitter by saying, yeah, I know how to protect myself and give my opponent the most damage without taking any myself. And I'm like, you fucking idiot. However, it is in this segment that we get one of my other favorite moments of the night. It's a Javier Bernal sighting!
Yes!
We won Javi!
We won Javi!
Hashtag we won Javi! Hashtag Javi on taking over as well.
I wish.
But no, like I love the fact that we at least get to see Javier Bernal here. It's a big fight between him and Dante Chen. This is most likely going to be the pre-show match at
oh no, next week. next week.
Oh, it's next week. They announced it for next week.
Yeah, I didn't realize I was paying attention to my audiobook at that moment, and I saw the graphic in the corner. I'm trying to see. Oh, Lexus versus Dante Singapore Cane match next week.
Okay.
But I missed out if they had anything before that because that was the last graphic that came up in the corner. So I don't know if anything else came out. I didn't see anything about next week aside from that.
I was gonna say they didn't do their typical "this is coming next week."
Yeah, and that was just in the corner.
Which makes me think things are happening next week at the pay-per-view this weekend.
Sean is cooking again.
Sean has definitely got his chef's hat on, ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
We got STG saying, "I've been paying more attention to NXT lately, thanks to you guys. What is the average attendance for an NXT show?" So that is held at the Performance Center. The wrestling portion that they open up to the crowd is called the CWC, and that has an attendance of about 200 to 500 people, roughly what we're going to see at the Apex this weekend. It's a small building. Like I said, it's a small portion of the Performance Center. So it's not like what they used to do in Full Sail, where they can get upwards of almost 1,000 people, I believe, as a Full Sail, wasn't it? 500 to 700 people in Full Sail. You were there enough.
Yeah, but I don't think it's that many.
Okay. It's a small building, but they pack it out with mostly free tickets, but at the same time, they do sell tickets on the Florida Loop. Before the stupid decision to go to Apex, they were doing very well with their ticket sales for the shows on the road. So I was surprised when they decided to go with a small building like Apex to go ahead and do that here. By the way, the tickets for Apex are $250 for the balcony seats and $500 for the seats near the floor. Yikes! To put in perspective, if you're thinking about going to Apex, you might as well just go to Canada, because the tickets for the Canada show, third row off-camera side, is a little over $150. So definitely works. He says, yeah, it looks small, intimate crowd. However, AEW puts on shows in arena with 10,000+ and don't even sell close to that. I don't want to bag on AEW for things like this. Here's the problem with what AEW does. They book the big arenas because I guarantee they're getting some kind of a discount because the arena thinks they're going to sell it out, and then they don't. But most of those tickets that they don't sell were never on sale to begin with. If you look at, if you want to really understand what's going on with stuff like that, go to WrestleTix on Twitter. WrestleTix will tell you how much how many tickets are available for the show, the way that the setup is done, how many tickets are still available to buy, and how many, tickets then remain. So it kind of gives you this little idea, a better idea on a fairly weekly basis. They kind of update things like that.
Yeah, and I feel like with AW, their biggest flaw is that they don't do a lot of media appearances, because most of the time, at least with WWE, they make media appearances like the morning shows and things like that, the local shows, to advertise that there's a show going on tonight. AW doesn't often do that. They appear like Busted Open, for example, which is not a local show, so it doesn't help them in the end. So it's like, you need to advertise. Like, I didn't know there was a show for AW in my town until I got an email from Ticketmaster telling me AW was coming.
AEW does a lot of marketing via their email system, and they don't do a lot of TV ads. When WWE's coming to my area, I am inundated with ads during every programming under the sun. Hey, WWE's coming to Boston for X, Y, and Z. Make sure you get your tickets. And that doesn't matter if it's a pay-per-view or a house show. They are going to make sure that I know that they're coming to town.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a problem with AEW. But again, that's a difference in philosophy. It's a new company trying to figure things out. But these are things that they should have figured out in the last 5 years, and they still haven't figured out. And that's the biggest problem with that. Oh boy. Lash, Fallon, and Kelani. That is sure a team. Versus Jaida, Soul, and Mia Yim. Was it so hard to just put the heels on one side and the baby faces on the other?
No, no lie. Once Stone came out after the summit and mentioned there was a 6-woman tag, I put in my notes already. Lash, Soul, Michin versus Jaida. No, wait, I put Kelani in there. I forgot about Kelani for a moment. And then I put versus Fallon, Lash, Jaida, and then Kelani, Michin, and Soul. Yeah, that's how I had it in my notes. And then when I see the entrances coming, and then they're like, no, we get Michin and the other side. And it's like, and then Fallon Henley's with Lash, but then Kelani too. And I was like, what? Are you guys okay?
This match was booked to do exactly what it did. Wrestle, wrestle, wrestle. Everybody starts fighting with each other.
Yeah.
Michin pushes Jaida Parker in the ring. So Michin and Jaida start fighting. And then Lash gets a hold of Soul. And so her and Fallon are working over Soul. And then Kelani tries to come in because she doesn't like the heel tactics that are going on. So her and Fallon get into a fight. And Fallon knocks her down, then goes ahead and tries to hit Soul again and knocks down Lash. And so Lash and Soul keep fighting while Kelani and Fallon keep fighting. Soul hits the Soul Snatcher on Lash with a 1, 2, 3. Another beautiful Soul Snatcher. And by the way, somewhere in all this fucking chaos, apparently JC Jane came out.
Yep.
Don't fucking care. She doesn't belong out here during this segment. I don't know why she was here during this segment. But JC Jane appearing during this segment made me realize one of two things. Either Miss Jaida Parker is winning this championship, or Sol Ruca is winning this championship. What? What's 6?
I think she gets added to the... Well, not 6. I think 7. I think she'll get added to the match.
Well, then stop putting up 6 fingers.
Sorry, I forgot that there's 6 of them. There's 7, okay? Happy? I can't do math, okay?
It's fine. But
that's not our major. That's fine.
Like, it has to be, in my opinion, it has to be Soul. If they're building to a JC Jane match, it's not going to be Kelani. It's not going to be Michin, which leaves Soul. And the only other logical winner, in my mind, is Jaida Parker. She is the star that you need to put a rocket to. I'll say this, and it's gonna for people who have been watching since the NXT days, this is gonna shock some of you. I like Lash Legend. I think she's doing good work. However, I don't think she needs this title.
Come here, I need to check your temperature. Come here. Come here. Are you okay?
For those of you that haven't watched for a long time, on our previous network, I did once say there was a women's champion. Was it the women's championship tournament or was it the women's breakout tournament?
I think the breakout. It was a breakout, yeah.
But Lash Legend was announced, and I said if Lash Legend wins this goddamn tournament, I'm going to quit the show because I hated Lash Legend so much when she first started because she was. And
then I was gonna get a new co-host.
Yes, Eduardo Papastritas was going to make his debut. It was going to be me and a video bro Bobby Munson. I remember that. Yeah, I was going to get like a Rey Mysterio mask and put it on and do the whole show with a thing. Aw, thank you.
I did it.
Yeah, but you didn't get the fireworks or anything.
No.
You didn't get all the stuff.
How do we do it? I forgot.
By the way, if you have Apple stuff, if you do like the hearts or like the 2 thumbs up and stuff, things will happen in the background. But Ash is not talented enough to make it happen, so he especially loves us as the great duo.
No.
If you want Off the Rails, you need to watch our Thursday show, Honor Ramble. Because oh man, does Auntie Collins and Kyle K. Sparks really go off the rails. Let me tell you. However, after this match, we get Eddie Thorpe talking about representation.
Yes.
Love this. Oh, we're talking about Auntie Collins or else.
Or else.
I love this Eddie Thorpe promo, but it does bring up something. I forget what it was. I think it was Fightful Wrestling that brought it up. NXT superstars really do love burning shit. Baron Corbin burned shit. Eddie Thorpe's burning stuff. Multiple other people have been burning things. NXT superstars love the fire.
That's so true. I never thought about that.
I didn't either until I saw the thing, and I'm like, damn, he's right. NXT superstars love burning shit.
They do.
Mostly burning bad gimmicks, but I think Eddie Thorpe is... It's so wonderful to see him talking about the Native American heritage and all the things and how he feels like he wants to represent it. And I'm like, that's really cool. Because we talk on this show and a lot of things on this network about representation. You know, during Pride Month, we're looking for guests who, you know, like last night, we had Ella and Jose who were representing the LGBTQ plus I2I community. Like, we want to make sure that people have representation. Yes, there are shows where it's me and Andre, two fat white guys talking wrestling. There are shows where it's Papa Smokes and Bobby Munson talking wrestling. But so often we have things like Ladies Wrestling Showcase. So often we have things like Taking Over, Honor Ramble, where we not only have, we search out to have guests who give us different viewpoints, whether it be a Stephanie Hardy, whether it be Amanda Savage, DC Hendricks coming up this weekend, In Cat We Trust coming up this weekend. We'll talk more about that in a little while. We had Shay Sawyer on before. Our goal here is to try to make sure that we give multiple diverse opportunities to people, you know, who have earned it, but also people who do a good job representing what we feel like Ole represents in our hearts. Yep. And we go find other people who are doing the same thing and try to promote them. And that's why we always give everybody socials of people who we have on.
You know, and we have a queer auntie and a Kimmy, and a wild Kimmy popping out over here, and an Ella popping over there, and and a Jose every now and then. So
yeah, like we are.
Is it happening now? I'm gonna keep trying.
Ole is for everybody. Ole is love for all.
Yeah,
it's nice to go ahead and, you know, deal with that stuff, because so many places it's just a bunch of white guys talking about wrestling or talking about this or talking about that. And it's like, we need to have diversity, because there are so many different people and different people who are being represented. So it's when, you know, backlash happened in Puerto Rico last year, and how Astrid couldn't stop crying about it because of how much it meant to her as a Puerto Rican to see that kind of representation on that scale. Stephanie Hardy talked about what it meant to her to see Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi in a prime spotlight on a WrestleMania card, because that's what it means to her. And it's things like that. Those are the kinds of things that make us feel good. So we want that diversity. And Eddie Thorpe here talking about that diversity for his community is something we love to hear about.
Not only that, and to put up the curtain a little bit too, is to the point that whenever a pay-per-view happens, we do have a chat that we all get together, the ones that are doing this behind the scenes, and I say, look, we have Clash of the Castle coming up. It's a pay-per-view in the afternoon. Are you guys interested in having anybody that I know that I can reach out to and say, do you want to be in the post show with us? And we try to at least have one or two, at least female guests or like co-hosts in the show, at least for example. So it's always something that I look forward to, and ask them, like, who's doing the show, so I can know if we have already two guys, and let me reach out to a girl. We have one girl, let me reach out to a guy. So it's about, I love having the part that I can bring in here and I can contact the people that I know, and then they stand for what OLE stands for. And it's like the fact that their mission in what they're doing in wrestling, it's so relatable to what we're doing, to the point that that's how we do it. It's like, so I bring in people that I know will match up to what we believe in, what we stand for. And like I said, we also have Lauren that pops up every now and then too. We also have Mel doing Japanese wrestling update or showcase. Look at me, with Andre. So it's like we try to have as many voices and many backgrounds that we have, you know, in here. And it's from the people that I've gathered, that I've been able to get in here, which is something that this is the first time that I get the opportunity to bring in the people that I know. And I love how I'm like, okay, I'm gonna bring this person in. I know you guys don't know them, but we'll see how it goes. And then I love how most of the time you guys end up like, I love this person, can we bring them back again? And it's just like nice and warms my heart to like think of like, for example, when I told Stephanie, it's like, I'm like, Stephanie, I'm not gonna be on the show. You're gonna do it with the guys, but we just wanted to have a different voice too in the show. She was more than happy to do it. And I like how after the show ended, you guys were like, we want to have her again. We loved her. She was her personality and everything. So it's always nice to see getting that feedback back and getting, yeah, we want to have them on again. And so many people, and it makes me like so happy to see that kind of feedback from people. It's like, you know, a lot of us see me. It's like I always say it, and I say it loud and proud. I am Puerto Rican. It's like I don't get to say it that often, so that's pretty awesome that I get to be that representation here on screen too. Ed is very welcoming. He likes having a lot of people doing the shows with him.
Yeah, I like getting to hear from different people who I don't know and who I might not associate with on a daily basis. And Astrid being our booker is fantastic. It's such a great thing because so many people talk to Astrid that it's so easy to be able to book guests because Astrid talks to so many wonderful people. And by the way, in the comment section, when we have guests on, tell us which guests you really like. Tell us which guests you want us to bring back on so we know, okay, this guest is a hit. We want to go ahead and do that. And make sure that you follow our guests when we give their social medias. If you like what they're doing, go ahead and follow them. Queen Stephanie Hardy does a fantastic podcast that I now start to catch almost every time that there's a podcast because I liked working with her so much that I wanted to hear more about her opinions. And I follow more of these people because they're guests on our shows. Different perspectives are always nice. I love the post show when you guys had to get the tables on. Yeah. Like I said, every now and then there's going to be a sausage fest where there's a bunch of guys. We can't always get a female guest. Every now and then it's going to happen. But we try to mix it up, or at least have an Englishman and a Canadian and a guy from the States. Like we try to mix it up a little bit, even if it's just 3 white guys. We try to mix it up a little bit. So it's different variety of white guy.
Different versions of whiteness.
You know, there are different diversities in whiteness, even.
Yeah. So yeah, I wanted to pull back the curtain a little bit when it comes to Oily, the things that we don't get to say often on screen that we do. So.
And by the way, to pull back the curtain even further, we're going to go ahead and give Ashton an opportunity to flex a little bit more with Jessica #1. She was just interviewed with Jessica Troy. Do you know what this clip is all about?
No, I can tell you 3 because the 3 is about Shazza and Rhea. So.
All right, so this is Jessica Troy talking about Sasha and Rhea. Ripley being Australian from Australian wrestling superstar Jessica Troy.
Kenzie, who gets highlighted in the indies pretty often, is like, how does that inspire you to keep going and motivate you to keep going within wrestling?
Oh, they're everything to me. Like Rhea Ripley, seeing everything she's accomplished is like so well deserved because she's just the best human also. So everything that she gets, she works so hard for. She sacrificed so much for. So it's just so lovely to see. Same thing for Shazza. Like she's killing it over there. She's making her own way as well, which I think is so unique. She's showing that you don't need a contract or anything like that to go out and do what you want to do. She's living out there full time, surviving by herself. Like that's all her. So amazing. Yeah, so cool to see. It's like a new wave of inspiration for the new up and coming wrestlers coming in Australia as well, being like, oh, you have this goal, you can try to get a contract in this place or this place or this place. But then if you really want also, you can just work really, really hard, put in all the efforts and get the right credentials and everything and go overseas and wrestle wherever you want. You know, you can be your own wrestler. You can stay here in Australia and wrestle here. It's so many like pathways for us all to take now.
And, of course, that's part of Astrid's interview with Jessica Troy from Pro Wrestling Australia. And if you want to find out more about that, go to bodyslam.net and go ahead and look up Astrid Asks on there. That is her most recent interview with Jessica Troy, which I believe just dropped a couple days ago.
Yesterday, yeah. I keep forgetting what day it is.
And if you haven't already, you can go check out her interviews there with Jazmyn Allure, with Zeta Steele, the real deal Zeta Steele. You also did somebody else with a real funny nickname, too. What was the other one?
Jazmyn, Zeta, and I always forget one for some reason.
It's the middle one. Oh,
I know.
It's the stunner, Emily. Emily the stunner.
Oh, Emily, yeah. I always forget one of them for some reason. I cannot do it.
But Just want to, go ahead and, as Bobby says, always amazing work, Astrid, as always. Astrid Ass is it's fun to see that one developing because I've grown with Astrid from this little itty bitty, girl who didn't know what she was doing in this podcasting world and never done the whole podcasting thing, had only done the book review stuff. And now to see you eclipsing all of us with the greatest of ease, and you've got Astrid Ass blowing up on Body Slam, and you've got it on your own channel, and you've got this going on and all the different opportunities you got. It's a real great thing. We've both been doing this just over 2 years. I started doing it a little bit before Astrid, maybe about 6 months before Astrid did. We both started another place called Love Wrestling, who do fantastic work on their own with some great stuff over there. Anything that Zach Ralph does is top notch, and I support it completely. But they do a lot of other stuff. And randomly, they were rebooting their NXT coverage, and a guy with a beard decided to put the two of us together with a friend of ours, Cody Defoe, who, Cody hasn't had enough time to do this. He's, real life's gotten busy, girlfriends, kids. We get it. Stuff, life gets busy. So me and Ashley started doing a lot of the shows together. And when the opportunity came to come over to our local establishment and do it, we jumped at the opportunity. Mm-hmm. And we've been here doing it with our best friends and having a whole bunch of... Yeah, we're going on 3 years. What, November?
Yeah. Well, my at least my anniversary of doing this is on September, but doing the show is October.
Yeah. But back to NXT. We got one more segment to talk about. All Ego Ethan Page comes out to go ahead and sign his contract, and Ava doesn't want to do it. Ava's hesitant to do it. She doesn't want to. But Ethan Page tells these people who are chanting, "Whoop that trick," he's like, "Shut up. You don't know what you want. You got an Ethan Page right now." Oh, Ethan Page is just so good on the microphone. God, I love Ethan Page. Because even when the crowd's trying to derail him, he uses it as an advantage to goad them more, to become a bigger heel. Yeah. He is built for NXT. He is built for WWE. He is built for this business. He's been a star in TNA. He was going to be a star in AEW if they ever got out of this fucking way. We watched the match. It was him versus Tony Nese. Yeah. And that match seemed like it was building to him becoming the TNA, I did it again, the ROH TV champion. And then, poof, like a cloud of dust, he disappeared. Never to be seen. Just like the Pure Championship. Poof. It disappeared, never to be seen again.
Well, he got announced now that he's going to be on the show this week, so hopefully he'll reappear somehow.
Is that why Kimmy tweeted that the Pure Champion is back?
Probably, yeah.
I assumed it was inside information that Kimmy had because Kimmy's Kimmy.
He got announced with Claudia, and I think Moxley, if I'm not mistaken. We have a Ring of Honor group chat, so he got sent to the group chat. And I was like, he's alive!
Well, I sent a picture to a couple of you being like, hey, look, he's alive. I tagged Auntie Collins and Kimmy in it. Because he was at the UFC fight with William Regal and Claudia. Mm-hmm. I think Ethan Page is great. Ethan Page did a great job here. What did you think of... I mean, you've seen a lot of Ethan Page, having covered TNA before, having covered, Ring of Honor a bit and watched a little bit more than I did of AEW Ring of Honor. What did you think of this Ethan Page in comparison to the all-ego Ethan Page that we've seen recently?
It just feels more like himself, if that makes sense. Because it just feels like more like, I want to say like a reflection of him, maybe an extension of him. I did like the part that when he's talking to Ava at first about the contract, he goes, "You lost, the draft happened, and you lost 8 of your top stars." He's like, that left a giant void, enough for me to fit in there. And I love that because there's something that goes along with what I mentioned before. The past couple of weeks, especially last week, is like the point, like, yeah, with the draft took a lot from NXT. And in that moment, you kind of had to shift things a little bit and kind of fill in that void. And he came at a good time when he came to this, too. It was like not only the surprise, but to fill in that void as well, because he's somebody that you don't have to build up. He's already somebody that is a top star. So it's a good timing in that aspect, too. And I love the way he talks to Trick during this moment, too, because he says, I wasn't able to do what you did, and then you broke out of the shadow that you had with Carmelo, and you put that spotlight on you instead. And it's just like I love how he put it that way. He's like, I like what you've done, and I wish I could have done it too. And I was like, that just takes me back a little bit of the North, but also about Ethan as a whole in AEW as well. But I just kept thinking of like the North, because I'm like, yeah, he didn't get to step out, he left, and then Josh took that spotlight. If you notice, it was like I like having that part in there, because if you know that that's that reference to that. I did like the part that Trick is like, no, give him what he wants. What does he want? And he's like, well, he wants a title match. That's why I haven't signed the contract. And once he knows about it, Trick doesn't like it, but Ava had signed it. So now he's officially signed. I'm glad we're going to have All Ego on a weekly basis. I'm a happy camper. I used to watch his vlogs, and he's one of those people like I hope to meet one day, because I really love what he does outside of wrestling and how he does everything he does with the toys and the vlogs and all that stuff. And I don't know how he does it. Plus, having his family on top of all this, so I admire the guy quite. So seeing this was like pretty nice. I was like, we knew it was gonna happen. We just didn't know how they were gonna execute it. But now it's official. Trick Williams versus Ethan Page for the NXT Championship, NXT Battleground. I love it.
Yeah, it's a great match, and it's why I titled the thing "All Ego or a Juggernaut." You don't know where they're going with it, but both of them are big stories, so you can't ignore either one.
Mm-hmm.
Trick is so good here. Like, yes, he's playing a bit dumber than he usually is in this, but it's all for the thing of making Ethan Page feel like a big deal, making Ethan Page feel like a sleaze bag who's just squirming his way into an opportunity without having had to earn it. Mind you, he's earned it everywhere he's gone. He's earned it by being the big star that he is, that he's got this opportunity. But I love that it's the way that they've gone about doing this. And it makes Ethan Page feel like Ethan Page. He's not a new character. He's not, Eduardo Papas or, whatever it might be. Like, he's not some weird version of All Ego Ethan Page. He just is Ethan Page.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't give him a funny name. They didn't give him a change of character. They just let him be him and said, do you. You being you is the reason why we wanted you here. Do more of that on a bigger scale. And that's what we're getting. And Battleground is the most unpredictable WWE show since Mania.
Yeah.
Like I feel like everything's been so predictable for so long in WWE. I don't know what's going to happen with a lot of these storylines. And that feels really good. But we've come to the end of our show. Astrid, tell the good people what you've got coming up for the rest of this week.
Friday, there's a new episode of Ladies Wrestling Showcase. It was pre-recorded the day after Mel's birthday, so obviously, as I said, it's not live. But hopefully, I will be there in the comments. I was like, "Are you muted?" It took me a moment.
Finally.
Yeah. So it'll be Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern, like we usually used to do it. So I hopefully will be there in the comments if anybody pops up just to chat with everybody. But it's not a live show. After that, we will have Saturday. I keep forgetting what day it is. Saturday is going to have a preview show for Battleground with Kat. And then Sunday, post show with DC Hendricks, the other half of the Monday Night Besties. So we have a packed weekend when it comes to shows for us in NXT. So pretty excited for that. And again on Tuesday with this one right here.
Yeah. And of course, like Ashford said, all the things that Ashford talked about. In Cat We Trust on Saturday, DC Hendricks on Sunday. Go back and watch the show from last night if you haven't already, to go ahead and watch that, because that was a bunch of fun with Jose on the air and Ella J. That was a whole bunch of fun. Next Wednesday, the big thing I want to hype up, because you've already hyped up everything I'm doing until then. Next Wednesday, me and my other tag team partner, Andre C., are going to be talking all things Captain America and the Winter Soldier with our good friend Lauren Goodnight, who is going to bring to us the vibes from the best bromance in the Marvel Cinematic Universe between Bucky, Falcon, and Steve. That three-way bromance is going to all come to a head in this one. I can't wait. It's going to be a whole bunch of fun. You can catch me on Twitter at edfries12584. Catch me on Twitch at twitch.tv/edfries. If you could, though, on top of all that, Follow us on our local establishment platforms, especially the YouTube platform right now. If you can go ahead and watch some of these shows, we are very close to the first level of monetization so that we can bring you better graphics, better things. We can get, a Photoshop to really update some of these graphics and do some things. That, there are some great things that we're able to do now with everybody kind of chipping in and doing them. But if we can get to that first level of monetization, it'll make everything better. Right now, what we're missing is watch hours and subscribers. We just hit one of the hurdles for subscribers, over
504 subscribers. Thank you.
Thank you all for getting us there, but we still need a little bit of help with the watch hours. So if you don't mind, go ahead and put on a show. If you've watched it, go ahead and leave a comment. Even if you're in our live chats, go ahead and when the show goes up on YouTube, leave a comment in the comment section. If you want to leave comments that we might not have read on the air, go ahead and leave them there. Somebody will always get back to you on comments that you leave in the comment section, as long as they're respectful. Please be respectful. Comment section on YouTube is not often a place for that, but if you could, please be respectful. Give it a like, give us a subscribe, turn that notification bell on so you always know when the next Our Local Establishment video is coming to you. But for myself, for astridpizarro, this has been Taking Over, and we'll see you on Saturday. Talk to you later. Bye.